What would you do if the wife you buried 3 years ago suddenly appeared in the market, laughing, breathing, and holding a child by the hand? That was the storm that hit Femi on an ordinary Saturday morning in Ibadan. One glance at a stranger's face was enough to shake the foundation of his life. And what followed was a journey of secrets, betrayal, and the truth too heavy for one man to carry. This is not just a story, it is a reminder that sometimes the dead don't stay buried, and love is tested in ways the heart can never predict. They say the eyes never forget what the heart once cherished. That was exactly what happened to Femi on that hot Saturday morning in Ibadan. The sun was blazing and the Agbeni Market was noisy as ever. Traders shouting prices, buyers bargaining like their lives depend on it, and the aroma of roasted corn mixing with the smell of fresh fish. Femi wasn't even planning to go to the market himself. Normally, he sent his younger sister, but that day, something pushed him to go. Maybe it was fate playing a hidden card, or maybe it was just one of those moments when life decides to surprise you. As he walked past the yam sellers, his eyes caught a glimpse of a woman begging to pick up vegetables. For a second, he froze. His heart skipped. No, it didn't just skip. It somersaulted because the woman's face looked exactly like Funke, his wife. The same wife he had buried 3 years ago. He blinked hard, thinking his mind was playing tricks. But the woman lifted her head and laughed at something the pepper seller said. The sound of that laughter, it was the same one that used to echo in his living room whenever Funke teased him. Femi, are you crazy? He muttered under his breath, shaking his head. It can't be her. Funke is gone. She is gone. But the more he tried to walk away, the more his legs refused to move. He stood rooted to the spot, his palms sweating. The woman turned slightly and his eyes caught the small scar on her chin. The exact scar Funke had gotten during their early marriage when she slipped on wet towels. Cold chills round that Femi's spine. He wanted to shout her name, but fear held his tongue. What if he was wrong? What if it was just someone that looked like her? And yet, what if he was right? The market noise faded in his ears. He felt like a man standing between reality and madness. Funke, or her shadow, he whispered to himself. Little did Femi know, this was only the beginning. The truth waiting ahead would turn his life upside down, like a calabash overturned in rushing water. Femi's heart pounded like the talking drum at a village festival. He couldn't just stand there. He had to know. The woman, this Funke look-alike, paid for her vegetables and started moving towards the garri section of the market. Femi followed her, careful not to walk too close. His mind was racing faster than his legs. Every step brought back memories. Funke, laughing as she cooked egusi in their kitchen. Funke, singing Yoruba hymns on Sunday mornings. Funke, lying pale and lifeless the night she died. Could I have been deceived? Or am I deceiving myself? Femi thought. He rubbed his face, wishing he could wipe away the confusion. The woman walked with a confidence Funke always had. She balanced her basket like a queen balancing her crown. At one point, she turned slightly and their eyes almost met. Femi quickly ducked between a stall. The seller shouted, "Olga, you go buy or you go hide." Femi waved him off, heart thumping. Finally, the woman stopped to greet someone. She smiled warmly, and for Femi, it was the final straw. That smile. It was Funke's smile. He had kissed that smile, argued with that smile, lived for that smile. Gathering courage, he stepped forward. Funke. The name slipped out before he could stop it. The woman stiffened. Slowly, she turned her head. Their eyes locked. For a brief moment, there was silence. The market noise faded. The air seemed heavy. But instead of answering, the woman quickly looked away. She grabbed her basket, muttered something to the trader and walked off fast. Funke, Femi called again, louder this time. Heads turned. Traders paused their bargaining. The woman didn't respond. She melted into the crowd, leaving Femi standing there like a man chasing shadows. Was it truly Funke? If so, why run? And if not, why did she carry his wife's face and scar like a mirror of the past? Femi felt his knees weaken. Something was not adding up. And in Ibadan, when something doesn't add up, it usually means something is hiding the full story. Femi returned home restless. His sister noticed the change immediately. Brother me, you look like someone that saw a ghost. She teased, pouring him a cup of cold zobo. Femi chuckled bitterly. Not ghosts, but something worse. I saw Funke today. The cup almost slipped from her hand. Funke, brother, don't start again. We all cried. We all buried her. Don't open wounds that are really trying to heal. But Femi was firm. I know what I saw. The same face, the same scar. She even laughed like her. His sister shook her head. People resemble each other. Ibadan is big. Don't let your mind play tricks. But Femi couldn't rest. That night, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Memories flooded his mind. The night Funke fell sick. The hospital. The funeral. The mound of red earth covering her coffin. Shaking hands with sympathizers. His heart shattered like a calabash thrown to the ground. Yet, the woman at the market, she was no stranger. The next day, Femi went back to Agbeni. He roamed the stores like a hunter searching for prey. Traders recognized him. Oga, are you looking for something or somebody? They teased. He kept quiet, scanning every corner. Finally, an old pepper seller spoke up. You were the man shouting the name of that woman yesterday, right? You won't find her. That woman does not like trouble. Femi's ears pricked. You know her? The old woman nodded slowly, wiping sweat from her eyebrow. She comes to market every week. Her name is not Funke. People here call her Iya Bingpe. Iya Bingpe? The name rolled off Femi's tongue like a bitter pill. If she wasn't Funke, why did she carry Funke's face? Funke's scar? Funke's laugh? As Femi walked away, one thing became clear. Someone was hiding the truth that had been buried deeper than Funke's supposed grave. And he was determined to dig it out, even if it broke him all over again. The name Iya Bingpe echoed in Femi's ear as he left the market. It felt like a cruel joke. How could the woman everyone called by that name carry the same face, the same scar, and the same voice as Funke? His Funke, the woman he had loved, buried and mourned. The following Saturday, he went back. This time, he did not wander aimlessly. He positioned himself near the vegetable stall, pretending to be a casual buyer. His eyes scanned every woman that passed, but his heart waited only for one. And then, like the slow rise of the morning sun, she appeared. Iya Bingpe. Or was it Funke? She walked gracefully, her wrapper tied firmly as a small girl holding her hand. Femi's chest tightened. A child. She had a child. His mind raced. If this was truly Funke, then whose child was that girl? The woman bent to buy tomatoes, and Femi could no longer hold himself back. He stepped forward, his voice steady but soft. Funke. This time, she did not run. Slowly, she turned to face him. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to pause. The child looked up at her mother, then at Femi, confused by the tension. I don't know you, the woman said calmly, but her voice trembled at the edges, betraying her. Femi's heart cracked open. You can deny me, but your eyes cannot lie. Funke, it is you. Why are are you doing this? Her lips quivered, but before she could answer, another woman called out from across the store. Iyabimpe, come quickly. The yam seller is waiting. Like someone rescued from danger, she grabbed the child's hand and hurried away. Femi stood frozen, his words spinning. It was her. He knew it. No one could convince him otherwise. The question that burned now was not if she was Funke, but why she had chosen a new name and a new life, leaving him to bury memories that were never truly dead. The sleepless night returned, the kind where silence pressed heavily on his chest. He replayed the market scene over and over, searching for meaning in his trembling voice, in her hurried steps. On Monday morning, instead of going to his office, he went back to Agbeni. This time, he spoke with the yam seller, the woman who had called her Iyabimpe. Madam, Femi began carefully. The woman you called yesterday, does she live nearby? The yam seller narrowed her eyes. Why are you asking? Are you looking for her? Yes, Femi admitted. She looks very familiar to me. The woman sighed. She lives not far from here, at Oje's side. People say she came to Ibadan some years ago with her little daughter, quiet woman. Keeps to herself. Some years ago, with a daughter, that time I clashed with Funke's death. He pressed further. Do you know her husband? The yam seller shook her head. I have never seen any man with her. It is always her and the child. People just call her Iyabimpe because of the girl. Thoughts in turmoil. If this was Funke, why had she returned with a child and no husband? And why did she let him believe she was dead all these years? That night, staring at Funke's old framed photograph on the wall, the resemblance was undeniable. He whispered to the picture, Why, Funke? Why would you bury me in lies? But deep down, another thought haunted him more than anything else. If she had hidden herself for this long, what kind of secret was powerful enough to keep her away? The truth was close, like thunder rumbling behind dark clouds. And when it finally broke, Femi's life would never remain the same. Femi could no longer sit still. The market whispers and the yam seller's information burned in his head like hot coal. He had buried his wife, cried at her grave, and tried to heal. Yet, here was a woman who carried every detail of Funke and lived only a few streets away in Oje. Early Saturday morning, he left home, determined to follow the truth wherever it led. He told no one, not even his sister. Some truths needed to be faced alone. The road to Oje was buzzing with life. Hawkers balanced trays of oranges and bananas on their head. Taxi drivers shouted for passengers. The music blasted from small shops. But inside Femi, there was only silence. Heavy, expectant silence. He asked around secretly. Most people nodded at the mention of Iyabimpe. They pointed him toward a small compound, tucked between a tailor shop and a provision store. His pulse quickened as he approached. The compound was modest, painted in fading blue, with a small line of clothes drying in the sun. Among them, he noticed a tennis school uniform. His throat tightened. Then, the door opened. Out stepped the girl he had seen at the market, Bimpe. She carried a small plastic bucket, humming to herself. Moments later, the woman appeared behind her, adjusting her headscarf. It was her. No market noise, no crowd. Just her, in plain sight. Summoning courage, he stepped forward. Funke. His voice was steady this time. You can't run from me again. The woman froze. Her hand on Bimpe's shoulder. Her lips parted. But no words came out. A storm passed across her eyes. Fear, guilt, pain. Finally, she whispered, Leave us alone, Femi. The sound of his name on her lips was like a wound reopening. She remembered him. She knew him. But instead of relief, Femi felt his world crumble. If she could call him by name, then she was Funke. And if she was Funke, why had she let him live with grief for 3 long years? That night, Enkay could not sleep. His mind was restless, replaying the way she had looked at him, the way she had said his name. It wasn't denial anymore. It was confirmation. Funke was alive. But why the secrecy? Why the new identity? Why the silence? The next day, he returned to OJ. He waited outside the compound until evening. When the neighborhood grew quieter, children were called inside, shops were closing, and lanterns began to glow. Then, he saw her step out again, carrying a small basket. He followed continuously until she turned into a quiet path. Gathering courage, he called out, "Funke, please don't run. I just want to talk." She stopped. For a long moment, she stood with her back to him. Then slowly turned. Her eyes glistened in the dim light. "You should not have found me," she said softly. "Then explain to me why I had to bury an empty coffin," Femi demanded, his voice breaking. "Explain why you vanished from my life without a word. You owe me that much." Tears filled her eyes, but she shook her head. Some truths are heavier than death itself. "If I had stayed, you would have been destroyed." Femi's breath caught. Destroyed? By what? By who? She looked away, her jaw tightening. "Please, for your own peace, let the past remain buried." Her words only foiled his desperation. "Funke, I lived 3 years thinking you were gone. You left me to mourn, to suffer. You can't just brush me aside with riddles." But Funke's voice dropped to a whisper, almost trembling. "If you love me, if you ever love me, don't dig deeper. Some secrets, once uncovered, can burn everything to ashes." And with that, she turned and walked away, leaving Femi standing in the shadows, torn between fear and determination. One thing was certain, he could not stop now. Even if the truth was fire, he was ready to walk into the flames. Days turned into weeks, but Femi's mind refused to rest. Funke's warning echoed in his ears. Some truths are heavier than death itself. Those words gnawed at him like termites eating wood from within. He tried to return to his routine, but even in the office, Femi spied on his desk while his thoughts wandered back to OJ. He replayed every moment. Her trembling voice, her tear-filled eyes, her refusal to explain. The silence between them screamed louder than words. Finally, he made a decision. If Funke would not tell me, then someone else would. He returned to OJ this time, determined to speak to neighbors. It didn't take long before an elderly woman, sitting by her doorway, peeling oranges, responded to his polite greetings. "Young man, you've been coming around here often. Who are you looking for?" she asked, eyeing him carefully. "I'm looking for the woman people called Iyabimpe," Femi admitted. The old woman chuckled softly. "Ah, that one. Quiet soul. Keeps to herself, but life has not been easy for her." Femi leaned in. "What do you mean?" The woman's eyes softened. "She came here years ago with a baby girl. No husband, no family. Just her and the child. Some people said she ran away from something, but she never talked about her past. All we know is she works hard, sells little things, and loves her daughter deeply." Femi's chest tightened. Ran away? From what? Or from who? Before he could ask more, Funke appeared at the compound gate. Her eyes widened when she saw him with the old woman. Without a word, she walked past, her face pale as chalk. Femi felt the tension rise. He was close to a truth she was fighting hard to bury. But the cracks in her silence were already showing. And once the dam broke, there would be no stopping the flood. That night, Femi's memory drove him back to the past. He sat before the wooden trunk in his room. He had kept it locked all these years, unable to throw anything away. With trembling hands, he opened it. Inside lay her clothes. folded, smelling faintly of lavender. At the bottom, wrapped in a faded scarf, he found something he had forgotten. A small envelope with his name on it. His heart pounded. He tore it open. The letter inside was in Funke's handwriting. The words shook him to his core. Femi, if you are reading this, it means I have done what I must. Forgive me for living without explanation. I did it to save you, not to hurt you. There are things bigger than us. Dangers that would crush you if you knew. Please leave. Please move on. Remember me with love, not bitterness. The paper slipped from Femi's hands. His body trembled. Save him. From what? From who? For the first time, anger burned through his confusion. Funke, he whispered into the darkness. What kind of danger makes a woman fake her death? What kind of secret demands such sacrifice? As he stared at the letter, one thought haunted him. If Funke had left to protect him, then the danger might still be lurking. And now that he had found her, he might have pulled them both back into the very fire she tried to escape. Each word pulsed with misery. I did it to save you. There are things bigger than us. For days he wrestled with the meaning, but in the end, he knew he could not stop halfway. One evening, he returned to Oje determined to confront Funke. He found her sitting outside the compound, waving her daughter's hair. The girl giggled as her mother sang softly, her voice carrying the same warmth Femi's once woke up to. The sight twisted his heart. Beautiful, yet painful. When she noticed him, Funke's face stiffened. She sent Big Bear inside, then rose to meet him. Femi, why are you still here? I told you to let go. I can't, he said firmly. Not when I know you are alive. Not when I buried an empty coffin. I deserve the truth. Funke, all of it, her shoulders slumped, as if she had carried a burden too heavy for too long. Finally, she spoke. Very well. You want the truth? Then listen. Her eyes glistening as she continued. 3 years ago, when I fell ill, I discovered something. Something that changed everything. The man you thought was my cousin, he wasn't. He was someone from my past. Someone dangerous. He had found me again. And if he knew about you, about us, he would have destroyed you. He threatened everything we built. I had no choice but to disappear. Ake's blood ran cold. Disappear? By letting me bury you alive? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I thought it was the only way to cut him off completely. To keep you safe. To keep our daughter safe. Femi froze. Our daughter? Funke nodded slowly. Mingbe is yours. Femi. She was already growing inside me the night I left. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't risk it. That's why I created this new life for her. For you. The word struck him like thunder. For years, he had grieved a wife and unborn child, only to find both alive in front of him. His eyes filled with tears as the truth sank in. Funke, he whispered, voice breaking. Do you know how much pain I carried? How many nights I wished I had died with you? She reached for his hand. And do you know how many nights I wished I could run back to you? But every time I saw danger behind us, I chose your life over your love. Femi's heart ached with a mix of anger, sorrow, and relief. He pulled his hand away, pacing. The woman he loved had saved him by breaking in. Finally, he stopped, turning back to her. What happens now? Funke whispered. Funke wiped her tears. That depends on you. You can walk away and live free. Or you can accept me back with all my scars, with all my mistakes. For a long moment, silence hung between them. Then, Femi looked towards the doorway, where little Bimpe peered out shyly. His heart softened. She had his eyes. How had he missed it at the market? He sighed deeply, as if letting go of 3 years of pain. You took everything from me, Funke. But you also gave me everything back. I don't know if I can forgive easily. But I know I can't walk away now. Her face crumbled with relief. tears streaming down. Femi stepped forward, his voice steady. We will face the past together. No more running. No more graves that are not graves. If the storm comes, let it meet us side by side. For the first time in years, Funke smiled. Not the smile of escape, but of a woman finally coming home. Femi realized the truth. Sometimes, love is not about the life you lose, but about the life you fight to rebuild. One secret, one scar, one second chance at a time.